The wind knocked my plants right off the wall and my hellebore blooms broke. Hoti, rhododendron. Now the black charm is the one that is a little bit shorter, and this is what they look like if you're curious. What are we doing, George? And our friends at Vego are always so generous to our viewers. Sometimes mistakes still happen. Today we're gonna do our first plantings of the season. We're also gonna start spring cleanup, and I have an exciting new project to share with you. Maybe it's harder. Hi, it's Steph. Welcome back to my garden. Well, with gardening, despite trying to do everything right, sometimes mistakes still happen. This is my tray of nasturtium, and I really like nasturtium. In fact, I was growing 13 varieties, and I had been hardening off my seedlings here for a couple of weeks now. But a couple of nights ago, I left these out overnight, and it got down to about 32, 33 degrees, and the foliage all wilted. These were looking so good before. I wish I had some footage to show you what they looked like just the day before this happened. The good thing is that I looked this up, and if the stems are nice and firm, which they are, they haven't gotten mushy, they should recover. These should make it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave them alone for another week or so, and then I will plant them out in my raised bed garden. Now you might be wondering what happens if you have the same experience with your plants. Well, I actually looked this up, and I thought that I should probably cut back all of this foliage that wilted, but the internet told me to leave them alone, don't cut off the foliage so that your plant doesn't go into more shock, and just let them kind of do their thing and rebound on their own. So that's what we're gonna do. And I will keep you posted on how I make out. But you can see that all of these seedlings look really beautiful. All of the alyssum is in bloom, and it smells amazing. I think it smells like honey. I grew 2 varieties this year, the Oriental Nights, which is a purple blend, and the Carpet of Snow, which is a white one that I've grown for several years now. So these are all ready to start getting planted. My Dusty Miller new look looks really good, and I have some snapdragons, some pansies, and these are the dwarf bachelor's buttons that I'm gonna put up and down my front walkway. And you can see that they're already starting to push out some buds. So these are ready to be planted. Look at the stalk, it looks so good. This is the first batch that I started back in January. So this is the second flush of blooms after I deadheaded the first set of blooms. And I have yet another set that I started a month later that is a little bit smaller right here that I'm gonna plant out as well. And some plants that I've been collecting over the last few weeks. I have some hellebore. I have a really pretty yellow rhododendron that we're gonna get planted, another conifer. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let's go ahead and get started. Today we're gonna start with planting a new conifer here in our Japanese maple garden. Now for the last couple of seasons, I've had a small evergreen in this corner that was really struggling, but I gave it some time to see if it would recover, and it never did. So I recently dug it out, and we're gonna replace it with a shrub that I absolutely love, and I already have 2 others in my garden, the Butterball by Isley. This is a compact ball or globe-shaped conifer. It has a slow growth rate of only 1 to 3 inches per year and a 10-year garden size of only 2 by 2. It is pretty hardy down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit, and it likes sun to part shade, which this area here is exactly those light conditions. So I think it's gonna work really great in this corner, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it planted.
We played hide and seek for hours, placed our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care in the world. I was one rich little girl, daydreamer, kidnap me, take me back, all the way back to them days.
Well, I got it planted, and it was relatively easy because I already had the hole from the last conifer that I pulled out. And I think this is going to be a really great spot for it because even as it grows in 10 years, 2 by 2, it'll fill out this corner perfectly. Before we plant the next shrub, I just want to stop here at this woodland bed to share with you some things that are looking really pretty at the moment. I have these 2 shrubs that do really well in a woodland setting. They are Japanese Andromeda, also known as Pyrrhus, and I have 2 varieties. The one that is on camera right now is called the Impish Elf by Monrovia, and it is a compact version that stays only about 4x4, and it also has really pretty pink blooms. And because I really liked the pink blooms, I actually found another variety that had pink blooms, and you can see it's a little bit faded now. The blooms almost look white at this point, but this one is called Valley Rose. Also pretty compact, staying around that 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, and they bloomed beautifully this year. But last year they didn't bloom well, so I looked into it, and they like to be fertilized and they like acidic soil. So right now when they're done blooming, I can go through, deadhead all of the old blooms, feed it with some hollytone, which is acidic fertilizer, and they will be really happy and start setting buds for next year's blooms. And I also have lots of hellebore and daffodils that I planted. The daffodils were planted last year and they're all starting to come into bloom. And my hellebore. I keep growing my collection of hellebore because I absolutely love them. Recently I went through and I cleaned up all the old foliage, and it will reflush out with new foliage. And the great thing about hellebore is that they bloom for a really long time. So here in my zone 6B 7A, they start blooming in mid-March, and these blooms will look beautiful for at least 6 weeks, if not longer. Now the bloom color does change as time goes on. They will fade and get different colors, but they still look really beautiful. And then once the foliage grows in and the blooms start to fade, it becomes an excellent ground cover that is evergreen. And I have it back here in this woodland bed, which backs up to the woods, and the deer and rabbit leave it alone. These here I've had the longest. These were my first hellebore. They're called Ivory Prince, and they start off white, and then you can see as they start to age, they get this really pretty kind of pink mauve coloration to them. They're really beautiful. I actually started with 2, and because I've had them so long, I've been able to divide them, and I have about 6 plants now. A couple of weeks ago when I did a video at Lowe's, I had picked up this really beautiful rhododendron. It is a yellow variety, which I had never seen before, so I thought it was really interesting and I picked it up. It's called the Hillside rhododendron. It's a Monrovia plant. It likes part sun, and rhododendrons are understory trees, which means they like to be planted under the canopy of larger trees where they'll get some shade. And this area here is still in my woodland garden. It's a work in progress. I have a long-term vision for this whole area back here. And this year we're actually doing something really fun in this area, which we'll talk about in a little while. But for now, I'm going to plant this rhododendron right here under this group of trees. There's actually some pines up above, and rhododendrons do really well with acidic soil. So those pine needles are providing some acidity to this soil, so I think they're going to be really happy. In fact, I actually have another rhododendron planted right in the corner that is doing really well, and because I already have to spray the buds for deer, I may as well just plant this one here, and I will take care of spraying both of them when I do my deer repellent. So I have this geranium macrorhizum on the ground, which is a ground cover, and the deer don't touch it. So my idea is to plant it somewhere in the middle of this ground cover in hopes that it'll, one, repel deer, but also I think it'll look pretty to have this ground cover down below. And I already planted a shrub there before that didn't make it, so I know I have some loose soil to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig in there and make some space for this new rhododendron. This always happens. I am doing one thing and then I quickly get distracted and start doing something else. Now I'm cleaning leaves. But I got the rhododendron planted, and I think it's gonna work out really nicely in this area. It's pretty compact, and I don't remember if I told you the size on it, but it will get to be 3 by 3 in height and in width. So that's a great size for this area here. And before I forget, I actually wanna spray it with some deer spray because I don't wanna risk not seeing these beautiful yellow blooms this season. And on the back of this woodland bed, I have 3 of these tete-a-tete daffodils that are blooming beautifully right now. They look like 3 little bouquets of these cherry yellow blooms. I actually really like this variety. I feel like they're early to bloom. They're nice and upright and sturdy, and they multiply really well. These were small bundles just a couple of years ago, and they've more than doubled in size. And I also have some muscari or grape hyacinth that is blooming. And this is just a really woodland area. Like I said, I have some epimedium, caladiums, I have some ferns, some columbine back here, but I'm excited to see what this area looks like in about 10 years as everything starts to mature and as I get more planting done in this space. While we were busy doing other things, the wind knocked my plants right off the wall and my hellebore blooms broke, which is so frustrating because they were looking so pretty. Maybe I can cut them off and put them in a vase, but let me show you where they're gonna go. This is where I'm planting the hellebore, right here along our wall. The house provides a lot of shade in this bed, so I think that these hellebore will be really happy here. And this foliage over time will create a nice ground cover. I have a couple of other plants in this area that have foliage, like ferns that haven't broken dormancy yet, and some variegated Solomon seal that's just starting to poke through the soil. So as this foliage all fills in, my hope is that I will have to mulch less eventually. The hellebore are planted and I think they're going to look really nice in that area. Now, typically it looks better aesthetically if you plant in odd numbers, like 3, 5, 7, and so forth. I actually only bought 2 of these hellebore because hellebore are a little bit pricier because they take so long to grow from seed. These are probably 3 to 5 year old plants, which means that the price is a little bit premium. So I planted them pretty close together, so as they fill in, they'll just look like a little cluster of hellebore. And next, I'm actually going to plant some bulbs that I picked up on a recent trip to Home Depot. I grabbed some lily bulbs. Now, I did a video a couple of months ago now about some color trends for 2026, and goth gardens, which had some dark moody flowers, are trending. And I thought that I would dip my toes into some dark flowers with these lilies. So I picked up the lily black charm and the lily landini. The landini is slightly shorter, so I'm going to plant these in front and these behind, and I'm actually going to put them right in this area right here against the wall. And I think that they're going to be pretty because they're going to just peek over the wall when they're in bloom. Now, if you've picked up any of these bare root bulbs at the garden centers recently, now in spring is a great time to plant them as long as your soil is workable. Now, the black charm is the one that is a little bit shorter. It grows to be about 24 to 36 inches in height. So I'm going to plant those in the front and I'll put the landini right behind. Now, because this is the first year of them planted in my garden, they may not get up to full size, but over time, if they're happy in this space and they come back, they should get to that height. And this is what they look like if you're curious. They look like a bulb. You can see that it already has some growth in the top. So I'm going to get these in the ground and get them going. I'm also going to add some bulb tone to the planting hole to give them a little fertilizer, which will also help them start growing some really good roots. I bought this auger piece on Amazon several years ago, but it's actually the perfect diameter to make holes for bulbs. I went ahead and made my holes and put some bulb tone in each of the holes. And now when you plant your bulb, you want to make sure that you plant with the growth tip facing up and the roots facing down. When I place my lily bulb in the hole, this growth tip here can be either just below or at soil level. And then you can cover it back up. What are we doing, George?
So it's lunch break and I'm always scouring Facebook Marketplace just to see if I can find cobblestone. And I actually found a deal on some cobble. It's the old looking cobble that I like to get. So we came down and we're gonna pick up a load. We're getting 120 cobble today.
Good.
Yeah, because we always need it. We're always creating new beds, right? So you can never have too much cobble on
No, hand. My brother-in-law let us borrow his truck because my van has done quite a few loads of cobble at this point.
Yeah, I think so. Usually the van will max out at 60 cobble. We're getting 120 today.
Well, here's one of the areas where we're going to use some of that cobble that we just picked up this afternoon. This is the path that leads you down to our raised bed garden, and we've decided that we're going to use the cobble to make an apron to sort of make a delineation between where our lawn ends and the path begins. And this is going to get inlaid, so it's going to be flush. It's not going to be popping up like you see here now. We just placed this here to kind of get an idea of what it would look like, and I think it's going to look really pretty. We're actually working on creating a new path to our Hillside area for a project that we're working on. And so this was the perfect opportunity for us to also update this path because it's been in need of some work for a little while now. We went on that side quest this afternoon to pick up all that cobblestone, which means that I'll have to plant these things out another day. I have some sweet peas, some lysianthus, and some snapdragons that I'll have to get in here in the next couple of days or so. But something I want to share with all of you. A couple of seasons ago, probably 3 years ago now, 3 years ago, we had redone this garden space from some rotted wood beds to these really pretty elevated metal raised beds by Vego Garden. And after that project, we started partnering with Vego on some projects. And they have been so generous to our audience. And today, 2 of you are having a chance at getting one of their new items. And these are gorgeous. Some new hand tools. Look at this set. They're stainless steel with ash hardwood handles. There is a soil scoop, a trowel, a rake, and a weeder. So beautiful. This will actually make an excellent gift for the upcoming Mother's Day holiday, either if you want to treat yourself or someone you love that maybe is just getting into gardening. This is beautiful. And the other new item is a hori-hori. Now, if you've been around for a little while, you know that this is one of my favorite gardening tools. It is a garden knife, super useful. It has a serrated edge and a straight edge, as well as a twine cutter or a bottle opener. You can use it for either or. You can use this as a wrench to tighten bolts in the center, and it also has this ruler, so if you're planting bulbs, you know how deep you're going. I mean, it's just such a multi-use garden tool. It's excellent. And this one feels solid. It has this nice stainless steel blade with this hardwood handle. Comes with a sheath that also has a belt loop, so you can have it on your side when you're out working in the garden and you won't lose it, like we so often do with our tools. So for a chance to receive either the hori-hori or the 4-piece tool set, all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel. It is free to do so, and it just allows YouTube to let you know the next time we post a video. Like this video by hitting the thumbs up button and leave us a comment related to something you saw in the video today. And on the 22nd, Wednesday, April 22nd, we're going to use a random comment selector to choose 2 people, one who will receive the hori-hori and one who will receive the 4-piece tool set. So I want to thank Vego for always being so generous to our audience and offering items to you periodically. But if you're ever in the market for any kind of gardening item, a raised bed, tractable hose, or some hand tools, consider Vego Garden. And I always have all the links as well as a Hooked and Rooted exclusive promo code down in the description of all my videos. So let's go ahead and check out that new project. So this area here is our Hillside garden, and it's an area that we've been working on for the last 5 years or so. This is actually year 5. And we're going to actually make a significant dent in it this year, and I'm so excited about it. So for point of reference, George is over at the top of the path where we're planning on installing that cobblestone apron. And that path is going to get redone, and we have a plan of making a path to the left and to the right. And this year we're creating the one to the right. And it's going to be right in this area, but right in the center you can see there's this huge crater. Well, there was a large rock in here, and we could just see the tip of the rock, so we had no idea how big it was going to be, but it was right in the middle of where the path needed to be. So when we had someone come over to do some site work for us, we asked if they could remove it, and they did. But now it left this mess for us to fix. Well, you know how they say, things have to get worse before they can get better. So we're going to work on that, but right behind me you can see we have a concrete pad for where my new greenhouse is going to go. And I'm so excited about it because this has been a wish and a dream of mine since I started gardening several years ago, and I'm so grateful that we're going to make it a reality this year. I have ordered the Vego Victorian greenhouse. It's a glass-sided greenhouse with a black frame, and I think it's going to look really sharp in this area. It's going to be an 8.5 by 12.5, and I think it's going to be the perfect size for this space. Now, over the last several years, we've had a lot of growth on these evergreens that we have on the hillside, so we're finally going to be able to put down some mulch. We're also going to do some gravel and some more planting in this area, and I am so excited to see it all pulled together and to take you along for this project. So thank you so much for spending your time with us, and I'll catch you in the next one.